I hope this one's better.
I hope so too. So, oh, let me just quickly run an ad. Alright, are you ready to go?
Yes, I'm ready.
Alright, we are starting in 3, 2, 1, go. And I put the score wrong on my overlay. Oops. There we go. So, it is going to be Bisu, the hair toss, aka the woman toss, coming out for SKT.
That's a terrible nickname. Why would you do that?
Dude, he's like the most womanly Protoss that plays this manly race. I mean,
He's the
what
most
do you want me to call
handsome
him?
Protoss.
No. That is Stork, my friend. That is Stork. You are gravely mistaken. Bisu is
Oh,
certainly
well,
the
if we're talking about
prettiest.
handsome in terms of gameplay, it's clearly
Bisu,
Gengi.
Bisu is the prettiest. Stork is the most handsome. And
Okay.
Bisu is like looking strangely at something. He looks like really confused. Is he high or something? Like, what's going on here?
If we're gonna talk about players who look really strange before the game starts, we're gonna have to talk about Flash, like doing weird twitches and measuring his keyboard placement with a ruler. There's Canata, who has a long career of mediocrity. He's been my least favorite player at times, but now I think I'm liking him a little bit more. You can never count him out of any single game versus anybody, but you can never count his opponent out too. He's won games against the best players in the world and lost games against the worst players in the world, and he truly is unpredictable, except you can always predict that he's going to play Turtley.
Dude, okay, I thought that
Yeah,
way
he beat
too
Jaedong, I know.
until he beat Jaedong with +3 Valkyries. After that game, I was just like, Canada, fuck yeah, man. This guy. Seriously, when was the last time you saw Terran beat Zerg with +3 Valkyries? I've
Alright,
never seen +3 Valkyries in my life.
I've been
Ever.
watching this guy for a really long time, and he turtles really hard almost every game. So even like one or two very pimp plays cannot restore my faith in him. I said it got restored a little bit, but he has made me endure, not just sit through, but endure too many 40-plus minute games where he just refused to do anything for me to possibly have any love for him. Maybe I can tolerate him, but with the +3 Valkyries, maybe I can even like him a little bit. But no, he's pretty turtly.
Whatever you say, man. You just wait. Look, he's gonna beat Bisu with +3 Corsairs this game,
No,
and
he's
your mind
probably
is gonna
going
be.
to turtle
Oh wait, that doesn't even
for
make
an
sense. He can't
hour
even make
and then
Corsairs.
lose. That's what's going to happen.
Ah, damn. I completely messed up. If Canada beat Bisu with +3 Corsairs, that would be a game. But unfortunately, that's quite unlikely. But he's gonna make something. I'm telling you, man. He's gonna make something that doesn't make sense. Your mind is gonna be blown. Like, okay, he's gonna win with +3 fire bats. All right, I'm calling it right now. Kanata's gonna
All right,
beat Bisu with +3 fire bats, and you're gonna become a huge Kanata fan in this
all
game.
right. If I have to call this game right now, from all my knowledge of Canada, I would say he gets to 3 base, turtles, and pushes out with a 3-2 maxed all-in push because his main and natural are about to be mined out by the time he leaves. And then, considering how Bisu is super Gosu, he's probably going to get crushed
Constant.
and then be on 1 base and then lose. And I swear to God, I haven't watched this game before, and I'm prefacing this because that's I'm like 50% sure that's exactly play-by-play what's going to happen.
All right, we'll see. We'll see. Nostra Varash
Fire
here.
Bats in a line would be awesome, though. Someone in the chat just said that.
Yeah, dude. It's gonna happen. You just wait, man. You just wait. Kanata's gonna show you. But I just, every time Bisu plays PvT for the rest of the season, somebody's gonna have to bring up Bisu versus Hansen. I'm sorry, Bisu fans. I'm sorry, Kiet. Bisu Hansen, man. Bisu, he held off the 2 facts because Hansen effed it up. And then he just died. He was like in a good position. He was like 3 base to 2. He had a decentish army, and then he just died against Hansen. Hansen, like some random 1-point guy in FPL. I had no idea who he was. He's kind of chubby, but he beat Bisu.
That's the great thing about Pro League, man. Even today, even with StarCraft 2 in its 3rd year, you still got people willing to start a career in Brood War and devote their lives to Brood War, and like they're getting good. A lot of people are getting good. Have you seen Reality lately? Reality joined the scene in 2009, saw his first Pro League match in 2010, and now I think he's like one of the most underrated players out there. He's super good.
And yet you still don't like Canata.
Oh my god, Canata's been around since 2004 and hasn't done anything. I don't think he's gotten better in 2 full years.
Anyways, looks like SCV going to go in the right direction as well. Marine is going to chase out the scouting probe. And 2 guys pulled off the gas for Canata, so most likely just going to be an FD push here.
Look how old school Canada's playing too. This is a perfectly fine map to go for the 1Rax 15 command center, but no, Canata is stuck in his ways. He's going to go for a mediocre 1-fact push into turtling on 3
What,
base.
he's playing a standard FD. It's not mediocre. It's like standard. Oh, he's going Vulture
I'm saying
first
his
though.
FD push is mediocre.
He's going Vulture first. That's kind of interesting. Also, Bisu is making a pylon here at the 9 o'clock. Presumably that's just a spotting pylon for like drops and stuff. Oh,
could
no.
just be a proxy robo. I don't see what he has back. He hasn't expanded yet, so it could be a proxy robo.
And you are absolutely correct. It is in fact a proxy robo. Interesting choice. More interesting is, like, what is Canata doing with this Vulture first? Usually, when you go Vulture first, you know, you actually send the Vulture around, you try to dodge the Dragoon, the first Dragoon, and, like, go into the Protoss base. But he's just using it with 2 SCVs to attack. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Is he just, like, scared or something? I don't know what he's doing. If you go Vulture first, you gotta be a little bit more ballsy. You gotta actually, you know, send the Vulture out. But, well, I guess he's just gonna chill at his natural.
Yeah, this is... I disapprove of this because if he actually, you know, made a tech lab, or I said tech lab, don't hurt me, made a machine shop, made a tank, and did the FD push,
everybody who's about to check you out just instantly hates you now, man. You're done. You just lost like all your fans.
I once said spine colony. Like, I didn't even say spine crawler. I said spine colony instead of sunken colony, and I just got so much hate for it, and I can't believe I made that mistake again. But had the push actually come out instead of this like turtley bunker play, he would have gotten to the natural, seen that there was no expansion, and seen that there were very few units, and known that there was something up. But because he's playing turtley, because he's Canata, you can see that he's already not. He's like hasn't left his natural, so he hasn't really gotten a scout on what's going on, and. Oh, well, it looks like I might just be totally wrong. No, just making an eBay for scouting, but that's not going to be in time to scout the Reaver tech. I thought he was scouting up that way.
Yeah. I mean, if only he had that tech lab, you know, he could have made a Reaper and scouted with that. It would have been really good. Anyways, as you say, it's just a scouting engineering bay, and fortunately for him, I mean, presumably he's going to just lift that and float that southwards, and that will eventually come into contact with the proxy robo, although probably not in time. Or rather not before the Reaver's actually in his base. And it's interesting because Bisu is going to have to do a decent amount of damage with this Reaver. His expansion is later than Canata's, but it looks like he's doing a good job aggressively denying the SCV scout. And yep, there's the engineering bay floating out. Supply's actually like dead even right now, 39 to 40. So let's see what Bisu can do with these Reavers. This SCV, what is he doing though? Is he going to check out the back? And oh, look at this. The shuttle going to fly right into the eBay, so going to give Canata a precious extra few seconds of warning there. I mean, those few extra seconds might not seem like much, but that is absolutely huge when reacting to something like a proxy Reaver. Now, unfortunately for Canata, his turrets are, you know, he can't actually make his turrets build any faster. And he's got to be careful. It looks like 1 Siege Tank sieges in a good position, 2 Siege Tanks and some Marines underneath. And those Marines are going to put a bit of a timer on this shuttle. It's going to slowly take damage from them, but oh my god, that's a lot of SCVs! The Reaver shoots! No!
Oh, that's
doesn't get it.
That was actually really good play. Like, StarCraft players know how to make scarabs glitch out, and if you know they're chasing SCVs and you have like a big bulky unit like a tank in the way, they'll get caught up on the tank but still be targeted on the SCVs, and it'll actually dud like 100% of the time. So that was actually really good play by Canata. Like, I know I've spent the entire game trash talking him, but I have to give him props where props are due.
Oh, what is this? What is this? Do I sense a little bit of Canata appreciation from the Canata
No, I still
hater?
think he's going to turtle on 3 bases and lose. I'm just saying he did a good job against that harass.
Alright. Well, we'll see. By the end of this game, we'll see what you really think. Oh, but it looks like Reaver's going in the back again. Is he going to risk it? SCB! Oh, whoa, what the? Wow, that was a random scarab.
Got one.
You got... Oh, wow, did you see that scarab? It like ran into a Dragoon and then just went all the way around the mineral line. That was quite cool. Anyways.
Scarabs are the stupidest unit in history. Even stupider than Dragoons.
Dude, I just wish like I could look inside the mind of a scarab and see what it was thinking when it does these random movements. I guess
Maybe a scarab has like an attention span of like 4 milliseconds. That could be an explanation. So we've got
Seriously.
2 Reapers out right now, and this is actually pretty dangerous. Kanata's going to need to have his tanks positioned, and he keeps trying to take his third at that mineral only. Like, he keeps trying to set up turrets there, but they're never getting up. I think that was his 3rd or 4th attempt just now. And he's got some tanks. Bisu had like a 1-second window while both of those tanks were in the process of sieging to drop the Reaver and get a scarab out, but wasn't in time. And Bisu's already taken, it looks like his 4th at the 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
I think I'm seeing 4 bases, so he's going to be just fine. Like, and he's still got his robotics facility up. Canata is so turtly and passive that he hasn't even pushed out far enough on the map to kill the proxy tech.
Well, see, the thing is, though, I mean, Bisu, even though he's double expanding, he's taking very fast 4 bases. It looks like it might be a little bit greedy, a little bit risky, but this shuttle, though, even though it hasn't killed many SCVs, it's keeping Canata very, very scared, very, very defensive in his base, and it also sees that Canata, you know, he's gone for this relatively quick third as well, so Bisu knows that this is safe. He's making it safe by being so aggressive with this shuttle and the Reavers. I mean, this is basically like the style Stork was playing a lot, until he got completely destroyed by Fantasy. Although he still does it as you know, even after that. But yeah, I mean, this is pretty good stuff from Bisu. Even though we haven't seen an amazing scarab on SCVs, which I would like to see eventually. Hopefully, we get to see one. I mean, there's 2 Reavers in that shuttle, right? They've got to get a good scarab at some point.
Don't be so sure, scarabs are pretty stupid. I've been reading the chat a little bit, and Freezer Jumps is actually saying that we want Canata to win, if only to have a Game 5, and I am always the person to root for more StarCraft, so I guess with that in mind, I can wish for Canata to win this game, and he's actually going to pick off a turret, so that's pretty nice. I can wish for Canata to win this game, if only so that I can see even more StarCraft and continue casting StarCraft.
Dude,
with you.
I've got an even better reason.
If this was Game 5, no chance I'd be rooting for
Dude, think
Canata.
about the players we have left. If it goes to Game 5, it's going to be Sun versus Firebat Hero, alright? Firebat and Sun is probably just going to like fail miserably like he did against Flying. And then Firebat Hero is just going to do the best stance you've ever seen. Alright, guys, everybody, we are cheering for Canata now, collectively. I'm commanding the viewers to lend your spirit. Kanata's like Goku right now. He needs our spirit energy. He's like making the spirit bomb to beat Bisu. I guess Bisu, what, is he like Frieza or Cell or something? Who did Goku actually spirit bomb? I don't even remember. We're gonna make Bisu Frieza because I like the name Frieza. So Bisu's Frieza, and we need to beat him right now. He's Boo.
I like how you misspoke when you were saying Goku and said Gosu. That was like a really big Freudian slip right there, which I love. Yeah, I don't know, maybe that's just what I selectively heard, but either way. We're just watching StarCraft and we have Gosu on the mind. So Kanata's actually sending vultures around the map and laying a bunch of mines. Bisu's throwing up a 5th at the bottom right, and he's getting his upgrades up. Canata, like stylistically, he gets mostly he gets machine shops on most of his factories and goes very tank heavy. And right now, while he's just building up a massive tank count back home, he is going to try to do some damage with the vultures, or at least have a map presence of some kind. A Scarab getting just a little bit of getting like the splash damage, but not the center damage done, so not picking off the vultures. And Bisu's going to have to be careful. He might just drop on top of mine, which would be really bad. But this like, you want to see a vulture presence a little bit, or actually much earlier than this on the map, to try to pick off the probe as it heads out to take a 4th, but Canata was still really, really worried about the Reavers at that point, so he wasn't active earlier, but trying to make up for it now. Not really doing that much damage, but it's nice to see him out on the map at all.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. I mean, I always use Reality as an example, the Con Terran, because he does this really, really well, just super aggressively denying the probe that tries to make the 4th base, and that is just so annoying for the Protoss. I mean, not only does it have, like, a tangible effect on the game of delaying the expansion, but just psychologically, it's just like really, really annoying for the Protoss. It's like a real drain on their mental state, and a lot of people, like, they don't consider that in the game. But I mean, if you've played StarCraft, at a decent level, you just know it's like when that probe dies for the 4th time, you're just like, oh, you just want to snap that Terran's neck, and you just start doing stupid stuff. You just like suicide your whole army up a narrow ramp, and you're just like, oh, I want to kill this guy so bad. Love being Protoss. Anyways.
I think you're talking about the Reality vs. Hurang 2 game. I watched that too. That was awesome. Like, Hurang got a huge, gigantic advantage in Reality by denying the 4th so many times, almost came back.
Yeah,
it was really great.
Vultures, man.
So,
they're in balance.
It looks like we're on our way to max, and an uncharacteristically early move out towards the middle of the map for Canata. He's actually trying to take and secure a 4th base because he likes to be on 3 gases, and he does have a mineral only as his 3rd. So maybe he's going to take that position and then from there try to get to 200 out of 200. But it looks like Bisu's might start being aggressive now, and there's no really mines out in front buffering for the tanks, and the vultures are kind of a little out of place right now, so that we could see a really big engagement in the next minute or two.
And Bisu made like 80,000 zealots. He's just look at those zealots, man. They're just running so in. Bad. Oh my god, he's got like a control group of dragoons and 5 control groups of zealots. He's just moving in here. He's using, and this actually allows the Reavers to be really effective. Although no, it looks like a nice target fire by Canata on the Reavers, but it doesn't matter. The zealots are just charging through everything. Oh my god, Bisu is crushing face here in the middle of the map. Although it looks like Canata will barely hold, and the supply counts do even up a little bit. 106 supply now for Bisu against the 94 of Canata, but do keep in mind that Bisu has his gateway set up at the bottom right, so he will be able to reproduce way faster than the Terran player here. And this is the issue. When you turtle up for this long, once the Protoss gets his additional gateway set up at another main, it is actually so hard to deal with the constant waves of reinforcement. I mean, Bisu can just remax in 2 or 3 rounds of units. And it looks like he finally has an Arbiter out now, adding more gateways in his main. This is actually really interesting to me, because this looks almost like the way Best plays. Just, very low tech, but, huge macro. I mean, we haven't seen any fancy storm drops, any, signature DTs from Bisu. He's just, like, expanding, defending, and just getting a ton of units, and now he's got Arbiters. This is like textbook Best PVT right here. So perhaps, I mean, these guys, it's funny because a lot of people were saying how they kind of switched roles, how Best is now like a PVZ specialist, and it looks like Bisu's taken on some of Best's PVT style as well.
I can't believe it. We just saw Canata go over to kill the robotics facility. I can't believe that's been up the whole game. Yeah, that was the worst. That was like Firebat hero-esque level of preparedness for Protoss push and Protoss versus Terran. He had not a single mine nor a single vulture buffering for his tanks, and he was expecting Bisu to come from the bottom left, and he actually looped around to the bottom right. But he should have had scouts around because he's got mines and vultures, which are both vultures which are super mobile, and mines which should be everywhere. He should have known that Bisu Bisu was swinging around. But when Bisu did, he was so criminally underprepared that he just got completely crushed. And like, I'm serious when I say that was Firebat hero level fail in Terran versus Protoss. That was a really, really bad engagement. He lost like 80 supply worth of tanks. It was almost I was almost in tears watching that terrible control.
That's Firebat hero of old, though. I mean, recently he seems to have learned how to TVP a little bit. Oh, looks like Bisu with an unfortunate rally at his bottom right base there is going to have some Zealots stuck in the back. Meanwhile, looks like Canata might be getting ready to move out. He's at 172 supply against the 188 for Bisu. I'm a little bit surprised why Bisu is not completely maxed out. Maybe saving that for an extra Arbiter or two. And looks like he has kept his shuttle now. I believe both Reavers are dead, so it's probably just for Zealot drops. If we're lucky, it could be for some High Templars. And the EMP does get off, but what the hell?
Yes!
Protoss does not make sense. That EMP was good. I can't believe it. Like, I'm a Protoss player, and I am disgusted that recall got off. That was a brilliant EMP, because notice how he EMP'd in front of the Arbiter. He actually, like, EMP'd right on top of his own science vessel, and it was good, man. That recall should not have gone off. But unfortunately, Canata will have to deal with this now, and that is going to be extremely annoying. That's going to delay the push. I mean, these units are really not that important to Bisu. He's got so many gateways. It's primarily Zealots anyway. He's got over 4,000 minerals in the bank right now, just because he's been maxed for so long. So he can do whatever he wants with these units. I mean, the observers are showing he's got so many gateways. And this is going to be a real pain for Canata. He's just got to kind of siege up on the bottom, pick these units off, and this is just, he wants to be pushing right now, but he just has to deal with this. I mean, these still are a big enough threat that he can't just leave it there.
So I have a fun fact for you. If you had, at the beginning of the game, drawn a line directly across the middle of the map and said, you don't tell Canata, but you say to Bisu, if Canata crosses this line with a tank, you have to leave the game. Bisu would still have won this game. Canata, he moved around with some vultures a little bit near like the 17-minute mark, but since then and before that point, he hadn't been across the midway point on the map the entire game, and this is just how he plays StarCraft. And unfortunately, Bisu's like multitasking, big army control is like way too good. Canata gets away with wins against lesser players a lot of times by just like having really good, like gigantic army control. It looks like it'd be another recall, and gonna just deny the mineral only again. And there's only a couple of tanks there, and that's not gonna happen. So now he's gonna get into the production, which is really the critical point. This is really what's going to force Canata to leave the game, even though he's been since that big major engagement where he lost all his tanks and had to replace it with like vultures and Goliaths, he's been like kind of really far behind. I think this is the move that's going to finally make him leave the game. He's now... Wait, how does he still have minerals in his main? What? Well, he should only be mining off of his base at the 12 o'clock right now, but it looks like he still has a few minerals left at his main and natural, but this game should be coming to a conclusion pretty soon.
You know what the funny thing is that they've been even on supply like the entire game. Look at the supply right now. It's the same. It's 164 against 164. I don't understand how Canata, he's like taking recalls and, losing a million tanks, and yet Bisu just like doesn't max very fast. It seems like he doesn't quite have the best macro down. Because, I mean, look, Canata has a supply advantage right now. It doesn't make any sense. Unless I'm reading this wrong.
The thing is, Bisu has enough gateways that he could max at literally any time that he wants. I believe he's up like by 30 gateways. He's got, I think, 30 gateways around there. He's got, his main is completely full of gateways, and the main at the bottom right is getting up there as well. And like Canata, as he lost, like he had an almost maxed army of all tanks, and now his tank count's probably around like 15 or 20, and he's got a lot more vultures and Goliaths. But he just doesn't, like, he can't cover every, like, he's expanded beyond his means. He can't turtle on such a big area. And here come the storms. Those were actually 6 storms on all of the vultures, and stasising the D-Matrix take, which was pretty funny. And more storms going off, and very, very beautiful play by Bisu. Some nice spell casting for the fans. But I think, wow, that's so many tanks. I was gonna say Canata should finally be out, but that was a lot of tanks. But still, now that his production is finally going to all go down, this is going to be a desperation push. He has finally crossed the middle of the map with a tank.
GG! Unfortunately for
Alright.
Canata, he was not playing the Siege Tank crossing the line game, and he will have to GG out. Bisu will close out the series for SKT. They will take the match 3-1. More or less a predicted result, I would say, for all but the most hardcore of Ace fans. Although it is a much needed win for SKT. Haven't they lost the last 2 matches that they played?
I think they're 7-5 with this win, and that there's 2 teams at 6-4. So I don't know how that breaks down. So they're either they're somewhere in the top 3, so they're not in terrible position. But with such a strong threesome of Fantasy, Bisu, and Best, you'd expect them to be first with this new non-ace match format, because it
You
used
said
to be
threesome?
that
Giggle,
Flash
giggle,
just
giggle.
wins 2 games per set or 2 games per match, and so you just have to put together one more game, and KT Rolster is the number 1 rated team. But with the new format, I think it favors SK Telecom more, and the fact that they're not in first by a long shot is kind of surprising.
Okay, so I'm just actually looking at the history here. Spoiler alert, if anybody hasn't watched these matches yet, close your eyes. Yeah, so SKT actually did lose their last 2 matches against Seoul and Stars. So